Imagine this, a topic so talked about yet so misunderstood, one that impacts every relationship but leaves most people guessing, fumbling and, well, confused. Yes, we're talking about sex, but not just any conversation about sex. We're diving into the unfiltered, raw thoughts of women and what they really want in the bedroom. So, gentlemen, prepare to be both enlightened and maybe a little shocked. Because the truth is, it's not just about doing the deed, it's about understanding the mindset, the desires, the things left unsaid. Too many people miss the mark because they're focused on what they think should happen, rather than paying attention to what their partner really needs. And that, my friend, is where things get interesting. Number 1, emotional connection versus physical satisfaction. Let's face it, most people think intimacy starts when the lights go off. But here's the truth bomb. Intimacy starts way before that. You don't just suddenly flip a switch and expect fireworks. For many women, the magic doesn't begin in the bedroom. It starts with that text in the middle of the day that says, "Thinking about you," or when you hold her hand in a moment of calm. It's the build-up, the anticipation, and the emotional connection that sets the stage for what comes next. In fact, studies show that women often prioritize emotional bonding over physical acts when it comes to sexual satisfaction. What does that mean? If you're not building an emotional connection outside of the bedroom, you can forget about making a lasting impact inside it. This is where things like emotional intelligence come into play, understanding her mood, her needs, and how she's feeling overall. Emotional connection is what makes sex meaningful for many women, elevating it from a mere physical act to something truly intimate. Here's something to really keep in mind. Emotional connection isn't just about having deep conversations. It's about showing up for her, being present, and making her feel like she's your priority. A simple gesture like asking, "How was your day?" and genuinely listening to the answer can go a long way in building the kind of emotional intimacy that women crave. Number 2, communication is key, but it's not just talking. Let's bust a myth right now. Assuming you know what your partner wants is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Sure, you might think you're hitting all the right notes, but without actual communication, you're playing a guessing game. And let's be honest, nobody likes a bad guesser in the bedroom. For many women, what they want may not be communicated explicitly, and it's not because they don't know. It's often because they don't feel comfortable or they think you should already know. Spoiler alert, most people don't. So how do you navigate this? Open the lines of communication, but not just any communication. Create a space where she feels comfortable and not judged. Instead of saying, "Was that good?" which can put pressure on her to give a positive answer, try, "What do you enjoy most?" or "How can I make this better for you?" These open-ended questions invite her to share without the pressure of giving you an ego boost. And here's another curveball. Communication isn't always verbal. It can be as simple as reading her body language. Pay attention to how she responds. Is she leaning into the moment or withdrawing? Is she engaging or does she seem distracted? These cues tell you more than words sometimes can. Mastering this level of non-verbal communication is like unlocking a new dimension in intimacy, one that transcends surface-level interactions. Number 3, the myth of spontaneity. Hollywood has a lot to answer for when it comes to unrealistic expectations about sex. In the movies, passion is spontaneous. Clothes get ripped off in a whirlwind of lust, and everything just magically falls into place. But in real life, that's about as realistic as finding a unicorn in your backyard. Most women aren't sitting around waiting for some spontaneous, unplanned moment of passion. In fact, for many, it's the build-up and anticipation that makes it worthwhile. Sex is like a fine wine. It needs to be savored and appreciated, not rushed. Women often find more satisfaction in knowing that intimacy is coming and getting excited for it. Think of it this way: would you rather enjoy a well-cooked 5-course meal or grab a hastily made sandwich? The slow burn of anticipation often creates a deeper level of connection and satisfaction. It's the little things that build that anticipation: compliments, subtle touches, shared laughter. Those are the moments that get stored in her mind and build up excitement long before the bedroom door closes. So, the next time you're thinking about spontaneity, remember, good things come to those who wait and to those who know how to stoke the fire along the way. Number 4, quality over quantity. You've probably heard people bragging about how often they have sex, as if frequency is the ultimate measure of success. But for many women, it's not about how often, it's about how good. Quality over quantity is the golden rule here. You could be intimate every day of the week, but if there's no emotional depth, no connection, it's just going through the motions. Quality sex doesn't happen because of a checklist. It happens because you're both fully present in the moment. This means that both of you are engaged, focused, and emotionally available. If your mind is elsewhere, on work, on your phone, on the next episode of your favorite show, she's going to notice. And that's a surefire way to kill the vibe. The secret to making each encounter meaningful is simple. Take your time, be present, and be intentional. Don't rush to the finish line. Instead, enjoy the journey. When you focus on making each moment count, the experience becomes more fulfilling for both of you. And believe me, she'll appreciate that effort. Number 5, the mental turn-on. This might come as a surprise, but the biggest sexual organ isn't what you think it is. It's the brain. For many women, the mental aspect of sex is just as important, if not more important, than the physical part. You could be doing everything right physically, but if the mental connection isn't there, the experience won't be as fulfilling. So how do you tap into this mental space? It's actually simpler than you might think. Pay attention to what she responds to outside the bedroom. Is she someone who values thoughtfulness? Does she light up when you give her a compliment or do something kind for her? These mental and emotional cues are the keys to unlocking deeper sexual connection. Building a mental turn-on doesn't mean you have to be a mind reader. It just means being attentive to her needs, her desires, and her responses. Small things like meaningful conversations, laughter, and shared experiences can create a strong mental connection that naturally leads to better physical intimacy. Number 6, the pressure to perform. When people talk about pressure in the bedroom, they usually think of performance anxiety. But here's something that's often overlooked. Women also feel pressure to please. Society has conditioned many women to believe that their worth is tied to how well they perform sexually. That pressure can be suffocating and can take the enjoyment out of the experience. Women often feel like they have to look a certain way, behave a certain way, or do certain things to be desirable. This creates a scenario where she's more focused on whether she's meeting your expectations than actually enjoying the moment. And that's a problem, because if she's not fully present, the experience won't be as fulfilling for either of you. How do you take this pressure off? By making it clear that you're there to enjoy her as she is, without the need for perfection, creating a space where she feels safe, loved, and appreciated without the pressure to perform can transform the experience for both of you. When she feels relaxed, that's when the real magic happens. Number 7, redefining pleasure. Here's the grand finale, the idea that pleasure doesn't follow a script. Forget everything you've been taught about how sex is supposed to look, feel, or unfold. Women, like men, are diverse in their desires and preferences. There's no universal blueprint for what makes a sexual experience satisfying. What works for one person may not work for another, and that's okay. Some women might crave intensity, while others seek tenderness. Some want novelty, while others find comfort in routine. The key to unlocking sexual satisfaction is embracing this diversity and being open to exploring new ways to connect. The most important thing to remember is that pleasure is a journey, not a destination. There's no right or wrong way to experience it. As long as both of you are engaged, present, and open to each other's needs, you're already winning. So don't be afraid to break the mold, try new things, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Intimacy is about far more than just physical connection. It's about emotional bonds, communication, anticipation, and mutual respect. Beyond the bedroom, there's an entire world of nuances and desires waiting to be understood. And once you tap into that world, trust me, everything changes. Now that you're armed with this new perspective, it's time to leave the old ideas behind and embrace a more profound understanding of what women really want when it comes to intimacy.